Your mulch might be killing your veggies. Complete script part 1. Hey, what's up everyone? So I need to talk to you about something that's probably happening in your garden right now, and you have no idea. That nice layer of mulch you put down? Yeah, the one you thought was helping your plants? It might actually be slowly killing them. I'm dead serious. Stick around because what I'm about to tell you is going to change everything you thought you knew about mulching your vegetable garden. Okay, so picture this. It's spring, you're excited, you go to the garden center, you grab some bags of mulch because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Everyone says mulch is good. It keeps weeds down, holds moisture, makes everything look neat and tidy. So you spread it around your tomatoes, your peppers, your cucumbers, feeling like you're winning at gardening. You're out there in your garden, sun shining, birds chirping, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm such a good plant parent right now. Look at how professional my garden looks with all this nice mulch. You even take a picture and post it online because it looks that good. Fast forward a few weeks, and your plants look terrible. They're yellow, they're stunted, some are just straight up dying. The leaves are pale and sad looking. Your neighbor's garden is thriving and yours looks like it's giving up on life. And you're standing there like, what did I do wrong? I watered them, I fed them, I did everything the YouTube videos told me to do. You're checking for bugs, looking for disease, wondering if you overwatered or underwatered. Maybe you even buy more fertilizer thinking that'll fix it. But here's the plot twist. That mulch is the problem. The thing you thought was helping is actually the villain in this story. Now before you click away thinking I'm just another person, telling you mulch is bad, hold on. I'm not saying all mulch is evil. I'm saying the wrong mulch, used the wrong way, in the wrong place, absolutely can destroy your vegetable garden. And most people have no clue they're doing it wrong. Like, I can't, sir. Nobody wakes up thinking, today I'm going to sabotage my own garden. But that's basically what's happening. I've been gardening for over 15 years and I've seen this mistake kill more gardens than pests and diseases combined. I've watched people spend hundreds of dollars on plants and supplies only to have everything fail because of a $10 bag of mulch. So let me break this down for you in a way that actually makes sense. First thing you need to know is that not all mulch is created equal. There's wood chips, there's bark, there's straw, there's grass clippings, there's compost, there's plastic, there's rubber, there's cocoa hulls, there's pine needles. The list goes on, and each type does something completely different to your soil. This is where people mess up big time. They think mulch is just mulch, grab whatever's on sale at the store, dump it everywhere, and wonder why their garden turns into a disaster zone. Let's talk about the most common type that people use, wood mulch. You know, those nice-looking bark chips or hardwood mulch that comes in bags or gets delivered by the truckload. Looks great, smells nice, everyone uses it. But here's what they don't tell you at the garden center. When wood breaks down, it needs nitrogen, lots of it. And where does it get that nitrogen? From your soil. The same nitrogen your vegetables desperately need to grow. So basically, you're creating this competition between the decomposing wood and your plants. And guess who wins? Not your tomatoes, that's for sure. This is called nitrogen tie-up or nitrogen immobilization, and it's a huge problem. Your plants start showing signs of nitrogen deficiency. The leaves turn pale green or yellow, starting from the bottom and working up. Growth slows down. Production drops. And you're standing there dumping fertilizer on them, trying to fix it, but the mulch is just sucking it all up like a sponge. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can keep pouring, but you're fighting a losing battle. Part 2. But wait, it gets worse. Some wood mulch is actually toxic to your plants. Yeah, you heard that right. Toxic. There's this thing called allelopathy, which is just a fancy way of saying some plants release chemicals that prevent other plants from growing, and certain types of wood do this. Black walnut is the most famous example. If you use black walnut mulch around your vegetables, you might as well just set your money on fire because those plants are done. The juglone in black walnut will kill tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, potatoes, and a bunch of other veggies. They'll wilt, turn brown, and die. And there's nothing you can do to save them. Like you can water them, talk to them, give them all the love in the world, but they're goners. Cedar and cypress mulch also contain natural chemicals that can suppress plant growth. That's actually why they're good for playgrounds and pathways. They keep weeds from growing. The wood naturally resists decay and keeps things from sprouting. Sounds great for a pathway, right? But in a vegetable garden, that's the last thing you want. You want your plants to thrive, not struggle against chemical warfare from their own mulch. It's like inviting your plants to a party and then putting up a fence to keep them out. Makes no sense. And here's another thing nobody talks about. Fresh wood chips, especially from construction sites or tree trimming services, might be contaminated. I'm talking about treated lumber, painted wood, or wood that's been exposed to chemicals. Maybe there's pressure-treated wood in there that's full of preservatives. Maybe there's old painted wood with lead paint from someone's demolished deck. You have no idea what's in that pile of free mulch you just picked up. You spread that around your food garden, and now you're potentially growing vegetables in contaminated soil. Not exactly what you signed up for when you decided to grow your own food, right? You wanted fresh, healthy tomatoes, not tomatoes with a side of who knows what. Now let's talk about dyed mulch. You've seen it, the bright red, the deep black, the chocolate brown. Looks amazing in the garden, super Instagram worthy. Everyone driving by your house is like, wow, that garden looks so put together. But stop and think about what you're putting on your soil. Those dyes have to come from somewhere. Most of it is probably safe. Made from iron oxide or carbon, which are natural compounds. But some cheaper stuff might contain other chemicals you don't want anywhere near your food. Plus, dyed mulch is often made from recycled wood, which brings us back to that contamination issue I just mentioned. You really don't know what you're getting. It could be old pallets, construction scraps, whatever wood waste they could find, ground up and dyed to look pretty. And now it's sitting on top of your soil where you're growing food for your family. Here's the thing that drives me crazy. People pile mulch right up against the stems of their plants. I see it everywhere. Mulch volcanoes around tomato plants, peppers buried in wood chips, squash stems completely covered. It's like people think more is better, so they just keep piling it on. This is asking for trouble. When you bury the stem, you create the perfect environment for rot and disease. It stays too moist. It doesn't get air circulation, and fungi and bacteria just have a party destroying your plant from the ground up. Your plant could be perfectly healthy above ground, but down at the base, it's rotting away. And by the time you notice, it's too late. The same thing happens with trees, by the way. Those mulch volcanoes you see around tree trunks at office buildings and parks? Terrible for the tree. But that's another video. So you might be thinking, okay, fine, wood mulch is risky. What about straw? Straw is natural, it's been used for centuries, it should be safe, right? Well, mostly yes, but here's the catch. If that straw was grown with herbicides, and a lot of conventional straw is, those chemicals can persist. There have been cases where straw mulch contaminated with persistent herbicides destroyed entire gardens. Vegetable plants twisted, deformed, stopped growing. And the worst part? The damage can last for years because these chemicals don't break down quickly. So if you're using straw, you better make sure it's clean, organic straw, or you could be in for a nightmare. Part 3. Grass clippings seem like a no-brainer, right? Free mulch from your own yard, keep stuff out of the landfill, should be perfect. And it can be, but only if you do it right. If you dump thick layers of fresh grass clippings around your plants, they mat together, they heat up as they decompose, and they can actually burn your plants or create anaerobic conditions that smell like rotten garbage and suffocate plant roots. Not fun. I'm talking about that slimy, stinky mess that makes you gag when you pull it back. Your garden shouldn't smell like a dumpster in July. Plus, if your lawn was treated with weed killer, you're spreading that all over your vegetable garden. Same problem as the contaminated straw. You just spent money poisoning your lawn so it looks nice, and now you're transferring that poison right to your tomatoes. Brilliant move, right? Let me tell you about something that happened to a friend of mine. She was so excited about her first vegetable garden. Did everything by the book, or so she thought. Watched all the beginner videos, read all the articles, joined all the Facebook groups. She bought several bags of cheap mulch from a big box store, spread it thick around all her plants because she heard that's what you're supposed to do. She was so proud of herself, finally adulting, growing her own food, living the dream. Within 2 weeks her entire garden looked terrible. Plants were yellow, some were dying, nothing was growing. The excitement turned to panic real fast. She called me freaking out, almost in tears, saying she must have killed everything. I went over, took one look, and knew exactly what happened. That mulch was fresh, uncomposted wood that was sucking every bit of nitrogen out of her soil. We had to scrape it all away, add a ton of nitrogen-rich fertilizer, and basically start over. She was so discouraged she almost gave up gardening completely, and I felt terrible because she did everything she thought was right. And that's the thing that makes me mad. People get excited about growing their own food, they want to do it right, they follow advice that sounds good, and then they fail because of something simple like using the wrong mulch. It's not their fault. Nobody explains this stuff clearly. Garden centers just want to sell you bags of mulch. They're not going to tell you about nitrogen tie-up or allelopathy or any of this. The guy working there is making minimum wage and probably doesn't even garden, he just knows where the mulch is stacked. You ask him which mulch is best for vegetables and he's like, they're all pretty much the same, just pick one. Wrong. So wrong. So here's what you actually need to know. In a vegetable garden, your goals are different than in ornamental beds or around trees. You want your soil to stay healthy, you want nutrients available to your plants, you want good air circulation, and you want to be able to work the soil easily. Heavy wood mulch works against all of that. It locks nutrients away, it makes a barrier between you and your soil, and it can create problems with moisture and disease. The best mulches for vegetable gardens are ones that break down relatively quickly and add nutrients back to the soil. Compost is amazing. It's not really a mulch in the traditional sense, but a layer of finished compost around your plants does everything you want. It suppresses weeds, holds moisture, and feeds your soil as it breaks down. No nitrogen tie-up, no toxicity, just good stuff. Straw or hay, if it's clean and herbicide-free, is another great option. It's light, it allows air and water through easily. It breaks down over the season and adds organic matter to your soil. Just make sure it's weed-free or you'll be creating more problems than you solve. And keep it away from plant stems. Leave a few inches of clear space. Shredded leaves are fantastic, and usually free if you have trees. Run your lawnmower over fallen leaves to shred them up, then use them as mulch. They break down over winter, feed your soil, and you're recycling yard waste. Win-win-win. Part 4. Here's my system that works every single time. In early spring when I'm planting my garden, I don't mulch right away. I let the soil warm up, I let my plants get established. Cold soil under mulch takes forever to warm up, and most veggies want warm soil. So I wait until the weather's consistently warm and my plants are a few inches tall. Then I add a light layer of compost around each plant, keeping it a couple inches away from the stem. That feeds the soil and gives me some weed suppression without any of the problems I've been talking about. It's simple, it's effective, and it actually helps instead of hurts. If weeds are really bad, I might add a layer of straw over the compost, but I keep it light, maybe 2 or 3 inches, not 6 inches like you see people do, and I fluff it up occasionally to keep it from matting down. It takes like 5 minutes and makes a huge difference. As the season goes on and I harvest crops and replant, I just keep adding thin layers of compost. It's like feeding your soil little snacks throughout the season. By the end of the season, my soil is better than when I started, not depleted and locked under a thick mat of wood chips. My earthworms are happy, my microbes are thriving, and my plants are producing like crazy. Now if you've already got wood mulch in your vegetable garden, don't panic. You can fix this. It's not the end of the world, I promise. First, pull it back away from plant stems. Give them room to breathe. Create a little moat around each plant so the stem is exposed to air. Then, add some nitrogen. Blood meal, fish emulsion, or any good organic fertilizer high in nitrogen will help offset what the wood is taking. You're basically feeding the mulch, so it leaves your plants alone. If your plants are really struggling, you might want to remove the wood mulch entirely and replace it with something better. It's not too late to turn things around. I've seen gardens go from disaster to thriving in just a few weeks once the mulch problem was fixed. Here's the bottom line. Mulch is a tool, and like any tool, you have to use the right one for the job. You wouldn't use a hammer to cut wood, right? Same concept here. Wood mulch has its place. It's great for paths, around perennial flowers, under shrubs and trees, things that are permanent and established. But in an annual vegetable garden where you're trying to grow food as efficiently as possible, it causes more problems than it solves. Don't let pretty pictures on Pinterest or advice from people who don't actually grow vegetables lead you astray. Half the stuff you see online looks beautiful, but doesn't actually work in real life. Your vegetable garden is not a landscape bed, it's a living, breathing ecosystem where you're trying to produce food. Everything you add to it should support that goal. Ask yourself, is this going to help my plants grow better? Or is it just going to look nice? Because dead plants don't look nice no matter how pretty the mulch is. Trust me on that one. I know some of you are probably thinking, but I've used wood mulch and my garden is fine. And hey, maybe it is. Every garden is different. Maybe your soil has tons of nitrogen to spare. Maybe you're using aged wood chips that have already done most of their decomposing. Maybe you're in a cool climate where decomposition is slow. There are always exceptions, but for most people, especially beginners or anyone struggling with their vegetable garden, Wood mulch is a risk that's not worth taking. So here's what I want you to do. Go look at your garden right now. What kind of mulch do you have? Is it piled up against plant stems? Are your plants showing signs of nitrogen deficiency? If something seems off, you might have just figured out why. And if you're planning a new garden or getting ready for next season, think carefully about what you're going to use. Choose mulch that works with your plants, not against them. Growing your own food should be rewarding, not frustrating. Don't let something as simple as the wrong mulch stand between you and baskets full of fresh vegetables. You've got this. Make smart choices, pay attention to what your plants are telling you, and you'll have the amazing garden you've been dreaming of. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.